Welcome to On the Road, where we interview managers of surgical services, interim sterile processing managers, and OR educators about ideas, innovations, and insights from their interim practice. Today's guest is Ernie Nichols. Ernie has served as an interim manager and director of sterile processing out west at Kaiser Santa Clara, in the Deep South at South Georgia Medical Center, and lots of stops in between. Ernie has his bachelor's degree and a CRCST, a CSPDT, and a CSPM. Welcome, Ernie.
Hello, thank you.
So, Ernie, let's start here. What made you choose the interim lifestyle in the first place?
Well, I think it's kind of a carryover from being in the military for 20 years and moving around so much. It's one of the things that I just feel comfortable. I like it. I like seeing different things. I think that I'm better suited for this role. We have past called me emergency medicine for sterile processing. So, that's kind of my forte, and that's kind of where, I shine. So coming in and when it's at its worst, and bringing it back to life, and then passing it on to what we call maintenance managers. So that's kind of how I feel about it, and that's why I do what I do.
Interesting. So you're talking a little bit about the rhythm and flow from startup to handoff. Tell me, what do you ask for from your new client on the first day of your assignment in terms of metrics, or in terms of what's the first thing that you ask for?
Well, the first thing I do is the individual who I consider my upline or my boss. First, I want to know what's important to them. I want to know what they feel, how they look at what's going on at the facility that I'm working at. I want to know what the deliverables are, and that's a big part. I'm here. What do you want me to deliver? And give me a timeline and how you want me, or when you want me to deliver that. So that's extremely important to find that out up front. So now, I've got my marching orders. I know what to do. I know my time limit that I need to do it within. And now I can go to work.
Very good. Very good. Tell me a little bit about the metrics that illustrate a well-run sterile processing department.
Well, and that's interesting. We talk about that a lot with the current director here. For me personally, I'm extremely process driven. So the first thing I do is I look at the process. Some of my colleagues, they tend to look at individuals, but the way I see things is that if I can drive a process to the nth degree, to where it's so finely tuned that it really doesn't matter what individual it is. My processes are so etched in stone that it's almost impossible for them not to be successful. So I'm giving them every opportunity to be successful by driving processes. Every time that something comes up, you always go back to your go-to. Your go-to is process. And so, that drives my metrics right there. And everything I do is I think that way first.
That's a great answer. So tell me about one of the processes that you feel most strongly about. Give me an example there.
So I can tell you right now, we're prepping day and night for Joint Commission. Okay. Finally, so we're probably one of the hospitals that is post-COVID Joint Commission, survey, and so it's probably going to be a doozy. I'm anticipating it being them coming in on steroids, so because this hospital has not been looked at in several years.
Okay.
One of the processes and one of the way we drive things here is I've posted regulations, I've posted safety data sheets, I've posted everything that could possibly be asked by Joint Commission. And so if you don't know the answer to it, you can look on the wall in the room. It's there. Everything, and I've taken surveys from a bunch of my colleagues in the business, who've done Joint Commission Survey readiness. And I've used those. I've used AORN, I've used Amy. And so I put it there so they don't have to remember. And that's the big thing. When individuals get in front of people, they get nervous. And they may know the answer, but it just doesn't come out, or it doesn't come out the way they want it to.
Right.
Well, if you can walk up, point your finger, and reference it, that's a big help, and it makes them relax. And a lot of times, the fact that they just know it's there relaxes them enough to answer the question without using it. I know, I've got, a piece of paper, kind of like Big Brother behind me, in case I get stuck, I can refer to that. And so that's one of the things that I'm currently doing now. And, we think about it. What do we need? What do we need? What are they going to ask? We're anticipating. And it's also good business. It's a good everyday practice, not just prepping, but good everyday practice to do that. So.
Excellent. Is there a central repository to get the forms and the, not posters, if that's the right term, please explain, that people can access what you like to put on those walls?
Well, quite a few of them are made up. Some that I've called the companies. Some I've used OneSource. I've used different, some I've used Amy, and just really copied and highlighted particular points, temperatures, humidities, those sort of things that, when you throw too many numbers out there, hard to remember. Is it 60 to 65? Is it 65 to 73? I mean, so it's those are the things that are posted, and those are written in Amy. Are we following certain things? Is it an OSHA standard? I can't remember all those OSHA numbers, but I can reference them all. And so those, I use multiple references to get to those areas there, those points.
Great. Now, we hear a lot about getting cases started on time.
Sure.
What can sterile processing do to help in that overall endeavor?
Absolutely. So this has kind of been a baby of mine for many, many years, because from a sterile processing perspective, if we start our day out good, it tends to stay good longer or for the whole day.
Right.
And the same thing is with the operating room also. If we can get those first cases started on time without any hiccups, we tend to run smoother throughout the day and as we get into the afternoon. One of the processes that we use is that we have individuals. So my shifts are a little varied than other shifts. I don't have the 7 to 3, 3 to 11, 11 to 7. My first shift comes in at 5 o'clock in the morning. And you say, well, why bring them in so early? One thing that they can do is, now I have my strong team with 2 hours to really take a look at everything and make sure that, we have what we need to start the cases on time. And I brought them in a time enough manner to make a difference and make a change. So they're at 5:20, they've researched the case cards, they've looked at everything. Oops, we missed this. Okay, now I've got an hour and a half, 2 hours to get it taken care of. And now we can start on time. And so I can say that we are running relatively well where I'm at currently, but the big piece for sterile processing is that we're less than 1% of the delays are because of us.
I see.
And since I've been here, we've had no cancellations because of it. And that's a big thing too, cancellations. So.
Okay, that's terrific. Okay, so your first meeting, did I hear it correctly that is it 5:30? Is it 6 a.m.? What time is the first meeting?
5 is when we come in, 5.
5 a.m. Great insight. Thank you, Ernie.
Yes.
Okay. Now tell me a little bit, if a CEO or chief operating officer says, Ernie, we need you to do your part to help us grow volume. What does Ernie say in response to that?
Actually, so in the past and currently here, there are certain doctors that I speak to. I talk to leadership. I talk to chairs of orthopedics, plastics, ENT. We sit down, we have a conversation, and I'll talk to them about what they need. What is it that I can do for you? And, as with most places, doctors are extremely histrionic. So they can They can speak of something today, but it actually happened 2 years ago. So, but it's important to them because it's obviously important. It's on their mind. So we deal with that. So my conversations with them, asking them what they need from me. And that's the big part. I kind of stay in my lane here, and my lane is sterile processing. And so from a sterile processing perspective, what can I do to help you do your job? And so I just continue down that line, and I've spoke with quite a few. I go to the professional services committee meeting monthly. If there's things that they need from me, they'll let me know. They have my number. I use my own phone number, so they call me, and they'll like, hey, Ernie, I've got this big case happening. It needs to go good. I've got people coming in to look at it. Can you, I said, never, I got you. We'll take care of that. I'll bird dog this, to the nth degree to make sure that everything happens. We open it up early. We make sure everything's perfect for the case and things like that. So, just doing your part, it's like a football team. I'm a tackle, I block. As long as I block my assignment, I've done my part. I've done my part.
Great. That's an excellent answer. Thank you for that. Ernie, when you are brought in as truly stopgap leadership, right? And they say your assignment's ending because we have hired our new permanent person. How do you hand off? What do you do or say to make sure that that new hire gets started off on the right foot?
Well, one of the things that I ask is that I ask for anywhere from 3 weeks to 5 weeks to do a handoff.
Okay.
I know a lot of times that's a hard pill to swallow, because once they've got someone and they're actually on site, now you're double paying. And I get it. I understand that. But it's vital that we walk our days together. We do the busy days together. We do the non-busy days together. I walk them through all the paperwork. I introduce them to all the players, all the big time players and the small players. And so it's extremely important that we have that time together. And I have not been able to do it successfully under a month for that handoff piece. And I explained to my leader at this facility or all the facilities I've been why I need that time. And most of them are extremely amenable to that. And they do understand that a good handoff really is vital to them being successful. And that's the whole thing we want. I want them to be successful. I understand my role. We kind of call ourselves hired guns here. And, but I just want to make sure that they can continue on without any hiccups.
Terrific. That's a good answer. I like that. Thank you. Ernie, you got 3 certifications that I think, if I'm not mistaken, relate specifically and directly to sterile processing.
Yes.
Mind walking us through the nuanced differences between the 3 so that we can know which means what?
So we'll talk about the first 2. The first 2 are the technician certifications from 2 certifying bodies. So it's interesting. It's interesting how they divide it up. They've got slightly different philosophies, but are aiming for the same goal. At one time, about 10 years ago, there was a merger supposed to happen, and once again, like all mergers, individuals, egos kind of played into it, and it didn't materialize. But the fact that they were agreed on content it says volumes. It says that we are teaching the same thing in both certifications, or enough of the same thing that we can come together. So that's the big thing. Now, one of the differences is really area. The East Coast is CBSPD primarily.
Okay.
The West Coast is CRCST. And the middle of the country is a hodgepodge of both, depending on who your manager is, at the time, but there's both. So someone like myself, you might as well just get both of them. I got them during the COVID bit, and it kind of postponed me. So it was kind of interesting. I took all 3 tests in 1 week, all 3 certifications in 1 week, because I just had to get it out the way. And my manager certification is CBSPD. That is the organization that I'm most affiliated with, because I've spent quite a bit of my time on the East Coast. I know them extremely well. Some of my mentors have kind of pushed me toward that direction. I will get the other certification. I just kind of ran out of time. It's not that I have anything against it, but the other manager, CHL, I will also get that when I have just a little bit more time to go ahead and take that. I'm extremely busy here. I'm working 12 hours a day at this particular facility, so time is limited here.
Keep up the good work. So the last one that you will get when you have enough time, you said was CHL?
Yes.
And that acronym stands for?
Certified Healthcare Leader.
Right.
Yes,
right.
From CRCST. Isham.
One more time?
That's from Isham.
Isham. Okay.
Yes.
Great. Terrific. Thank you. Okay. Couple of fun questions. Ernie, where can we find you in between assignments?
Ooh, that's an interesting one. So this past weekend, I had a shoot. You know, I am a long distance shooter.
Okay.
So we had a 600-yard shoot. I came 14 out of 65 individuals. So for me, that's really good. I'm working my way up the ladder there. I'm with my kids. I have 2 girls, and they miss me a lot, and I spend my time with them. We go to the mall, and I take them to do the things. I spend a lot of time at Ulta and Sephora and places like that, which are girls' makeup shops, and I sit there and play like I really enjoy it, which I don't, but I enjoy being with them. And we watch movies together, we go out to eat together, and we kind of cram a lot into 3 or 4 days. We really do. Typically during the summertime, they travel with me, so they're there, but COVID has kind of changed the way we do business now. I Audible books, John Grisham. I'm probably on the 10th John Grisham Audible book, and I sit around and listen to that, and I really enjoy his writing. So that's pretty much, I hunt, fish, do some of those things during the season as best I can. Yeah.
And I think you just answered what you do for stress relief. It sounds like you listen to books on tape.
I do. I enjoy it.
Well, that's terrific. And by the way, you gave me a glimpse into my future. I've got 2 girls myself, and they're 5 and 7, so they're not yet. How old are your girls?
12 and 17.
All right.
So remember those names: Ulta, Sephora. You'll hear them again.
Okay. All right. Ernie, this has been terrific. That concludes today's episode of On the Road with Ernie Nichols. Ernie, thank you very much. If you are a hiring manager and want to meet Ernie or another interim road warrior, please call me at 503-866-9497. All right, Ernie, thank you very much again.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you.
Yeah, and we're going to put it up on the web. Thank you so much.
All right, sir. Bye-bye.
Bye.